Hi Gemini, this is your forecast for the month of March 2019. This is a general reading for Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising, or Gemini Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Gemini, the first week of March, you're starting with a major card, the Fool card. So you are starting fresh, or hoping to at least. You want to move in a new direction. And this may mean actual travel or doing something where perhaps you're lacking some kind of experience, or you may not be fully committed to something, or someone may not be fully committed to you. Some of you, again, there's a focus on travel or perhaps dealing with a young person, but it is the beginning of something where you're taking a leap of faith into the unknown and hoping that it all works out. It's a new chance, a new opportunity that's arriving. And this could be a week where you have to make an important decision. If you've been facing a problem, you may be more innovative this week. You may be coming up with some surprising solutions. So for some of you, you recognize that it's time for change, and you're opening your mind to new experiences, new concepts, new ideas, and there's a sense of optimism about entering this new phase of life. You're trusting in faith. But for others of you, this week may be a little bit shaky. There could be some significant and unexpected circumstances that are unsettling for you and that you're unprepared to deal with. Could be domestic, could be career. So you are headed into a new arena this week. And it's best to, face the future using your common sense and practicing some caution as you seek to expand yourself. This is definitely a week where you're willing to do more, to be more responsible to yourself, to your future, your success, and your happiness. So for some of you, you've made some decisions to move in a new direction because you want something better. So you may, go on a job interview. You may decide to change your residence, make some personal changes in your appearance, your diet, your relationships, your studies, whatever it is, you feel confident about moving in a new direction. And it's possible that this week you may be doing some traveling and new people enter your world. So you're making a decision about getting what you deserve, reaping the fruit of your efforts, and having a sense of gratitude. And this is an excellent week if you have any new plans to put those into motion, to introduce yourself, to network, to cultivate some connections, to establish yourself, or reconnect with people, some acquaintances or people who have some impact, some knowledge, some influence, and can open some doors for you. But for others of you, this is a bit of naivete. Perhaps you are doing something that's risky. You're being foolhardy. You're taking a reckless gamble, and you're fooling yourself again. Maybe you're stepping out there, going out of your way trying to impress someone who really doesn't deserve, your effort, or you're trying to save a person or a situation that is simply not working. So this is a week for you to use your common sense to take a logical, prudent, careful approach and not allow impatience or overconfidence or arrogance or over-optimism to push you in a direction where you end up falling off the cliff. And, the fool is very concerned about himself. And so this could be a week where your desire for personal gain or achievement causes you to become insensitive to what's happening around you. You may lose touch with reality. You're in your own world, and in that process, you may not consider the needs or the feelings of other people. And in fact, maybe you're operating, in this false sense of, or distorted perception. And maybe there's some scarcity mentality to go along with it. And it could be because there's some unexpected problems that you're dealing with. Maybe this is a week where you are being foolhardy, you're being irresponsible, or you didn't really think something through, and so there's some poor judgment, or you decide, again, to put your energy in the wrong place. There's a lack of perspective because you're obsessed with something, or you're simply playing with fire. Now, the second week, you have this Five of Pentacles. So you may feel as if you're left out in the cold. Maybe you've made a decision to travel somewhere where it's chilly. There's snow or inclement weather. It could be you're making some decisions about your health or your financial affairs. You may feel either, lonely emotionally, or you may be down and out health-wise, financially. So you could be dealing with some difficult situations. Perhaps you've been rejected or you're rejecting something. So there's a sense of loss. You may not have what you need and you're feeling some kind of strain due to dwindling resources. You may be under financial strain, emotional strain. It could be that there's a lack of faith in what you're doing or where you're headed, a lack of commitment, a follow-through. There's a failure to pursue something, possibly your spiritual self. You may have gotten lost in the material world, or you may be dealing with some kind of worry or setback in some way. For some of you, you may be involved in a situation that, you feel a connection to somebody, but they pose a liability to you. Maybe it's good for love, but it's not good for your money. Maybe you're in a dangerous, a passionate affair. You're looking at where you're suitable with another person, but it's likely that this is a week that holds some kind of disappointment. A couple of things just didn't pan out the way you wanted them to. Things didn't flow the way you had hoped. And everything seems to be interconnected. Your emotional, your material, things may feel very complicated, very complex. And you may be very concerned about that, and it begins to take its toll on your health, or you become distracted in such a way where you end up having a close call. For some of you, though, it could very well work out moving in a new direction. Maybe you learn a thing or two, and maybe what you learn is that you're not as far behind. Something hasn't cost you as much emotionally, physically, financially as perhaps you thought. This is definitely a good week to look out for you and take care of you. Now, some of you, again, you're taking off on some kind of journey. You want to open up to new experiences, a new horizon. Maybe you're seeking greater freedom. Maybe, that is posing a problem. Maybe somebody's trying to escape. They're trying to run away from a situation. Especially if you feel that people are making too many demands of you. And that's quite possible this week, that your loved ones want a little bit more than you're willing to give or that you have to offer. And this is a week, again, to use the Fool card by cautiously exploring opportunity or taking a risk, because taking the slightest risk this week could result in a setback of some sort, either with your safety or your finances or some kind of negative consequence. This is a time to be careful and not play the fool. So you may want to look at whether it's a good week to borrow or loan money. It may not be. And for some of you, you may feel a lack of faith because the week is challenging. There's one delay after another. Every time you try to start something new, you have to deal with some kind of challenge. So things are more challenging this week. And if you're dealing with an illness, you may have difficulty getting to the root of what that illness is or getting the proper care. It's a week where maybe you're being a little bit childish. You may be out of balance in some way. Perhaps you are blaming your situation. Maybe, you feel like things would be better in your personal life if you didn't have so much work to do or so many demands. Or maybe you feel like you could get your work done better if your loved ones weren't always asking something of you. So it could be a week of choices and balance and feeling a little bit down and out. Now, the third week, you have this Tower card. So the third week is a major week. Some of you may be dealing with some aggressive people, somebody that's challenging your perspective, the way you're looking at something. So there's some kind of disruption or interruption. Maybe something is going on outside of, what you're doing, and it's a distraction for you. Others of you, you may be dealing with an actual health issue, something that comes on suddenly, or maybe you're dealing with property damage, or you're dealing with natural disasters. Whatever it is, it's surprising and unexpected. And this came suddenly. And it's probably upended some kind of solid structure for you that you had depended on. Something is uncontrollable, out of your hands, beyond, your control. And you may feel pressured, and something may erupt suddenly that is shocking or proves to be some kind of awakening or revelation for you. Now again, this may come through the form of a traumatic experience. You've reached crisis point, and so a major transformation has to take place where you're having to purge, let go of something physically, emotionally, intellectually. Some kind of false belief that you held may be shattered. Could be you've gotten some disturbing news. It could be something that was corrupt or wasn't working suddenly collapses. Some of you're moving in a new direction because you have some profound change going on. Again, positively, maybe a new job, a change of residence. In other situations, this is a separative force. Maybe you're in a divorce or a breakup or an accident, or again, dealing with some kind of property or disaster or attack, or perhaps seeking greater freedom. Whatever it is the time to move in that new direction, to rebuild the things that have broken down, behaviors, beliefs, things that have blocked you, that have kept you from doing what you know is your purpose, making the most of yourself. And part of that means that this is a week where you're going to have to surrender and let go of something that you've been holding on to and making an excuse for that, but you really don't need it. Now, some of you haven't been taking care of yourself in the best way. You've been your own worst enemy because you haven't been tending to either your emotional or physical or financial needs. Maybe you didn't listen to the doctor. Maybe you haven't been taking your medication. Maybe you've been reckless or taking a risk, or you waited too long to attend to something. This could also be a week where, again, because of all of the demands being put on you, you're having to learn to be more flexible in your relationships. You may have some confrontations where all of these emotions are pent up and they suddenly erupt, and perhaps in the worst way. Could be through an argument or something shocking that you say or something shocking that's said to you. But this is a week where self-reliance is important. You accomplish more by doing more on your own. And again, reorganizing and determining what it is that you no longer need. For some of you, you may need more playtime, more enjoyment, a time out. You may need to let loose. So for some of you, you're having to make decisions. Maybe you've been a workaholic and now you need to focus more on enjoying yourself or taking better care of yourself. And fortunately, this is a week where if you had any doubt, it's easier for you to address that. You may decide to take a stand and tell some people some things that are surprising. Or somebody, again, may issue a statement for you that catches you by surprise. Whatever your circumstance, at the end of the day, you just appreciate knowing what the truth is, what the facts are, so that you can make a quick adjustment and move in that direction that's going to provide you the personal security that you seek. Again, you may hear something that you don't like, that's hard for you to swallow. And you may be holding on to a situation that's not as good for you as you're trying to believe. And it could be part of the issue is that you haven't been fully forthcoming with the people that you need to. You're only telling them, bits and pieces of information, and that creates some misunderstandings. This is a week to get real with yourself and your role in your life. Again, the Fool card says you have to be willing to provide for your own success and happiness. And that means stepping away from a victim or scarcity mentality and looking at life as if something is happening to you. Taking the reins and taking accountability. You are not a victim of your circumstances because something you've done in the past has temporarily placed you in whatever position you find yourself this week. Part of that may be you refuse to accept a situation that you couldn't change, and you kept trying to go with it until you again were your own worst enemy. So this is a week of reorganization. For some of you, this may play out in the realm of your career rewards, your friendships, the groups that you belong to, organizations, could be therapy or counseling or some cooperative group effort that's important. Now, the last week you have this Two of Wands, so you're doing a review of some sort. Could be that you want to join forces with someone. You want to form an alliance. Maybe that alliance broke up or it's suddenly formed, but you're taking stock. Maybe you're involved in some form of negotiation and you're waiting for an answer. It could be about traveling, could be about a job, a relationship, could be you simply, again, are making some shocking statements. You want to drive a point home. You want people to understand where you're coming from, or if you've been accused of something, you want your name to be cleared. You want that vindication. So this is a week where being in control and trusting your gut instincts will be important. You may be trying to control a situation or you may be controlled, but it's important that you see the big picture, that you have a vision and you pursue it. Right now, you may feel as if you have the world in your hands, but there's a part of you that knows there's something bigger and better out there. So you're using your personal power to boldly assert yourself and to take advantage perhaps of an opportunity. Now, there's a momentary pause, a waiting period where you're considering this move. And if you're waiting, though, because of self-doubt or you're not in control or you're scattering your energy, you could end up being dominated by others because they'll sense that hesitation and they'll sense that doubt and they'll act upon it and take advantage of you, possibly manipulating you in some way that's not in your best interest. So this could be a week where you lose control, some negotiations fail, you may even dissolve a partnership, or you may feel like things are not moving forward the way you want them to. Also, this is about, keeping things in perspective, not using the Fool card and being reckless. If your sights are set a bit too high, this could be a week where you fall back to earth and your reality is, driven home to you. So there's a revelation this week that you're reviewing. It gives you a new perspective. It gives you more self-awareness, and it could be some new information. You may need to use the Tower in a way where you're original, innovative, and thinking outside of the box. Again, you may put something off or procrastinate because you're not getting the support that you hoped. You feel rejected or left out. You're encountering more resistance than support. But that indecision is making you open and susceptible to being intimidated, and you're going to regret it later. However, it is important before you move forward that you get all of the information you can and that you get your facts straight before you create a disruption yourself. There's a need to make decisions based on facts rather than assumptions right now. Now, the underlying energy is this Six of Cups. So this has something to do with the past. It could be, again, your children. It could be people that are from your childhood, people that are old friends, someone connected to your past. Could even be an old lover. But you're going to have to determine whether you're living in the past and clinging to it. There is a sense of, renewing old ties, karmic ties. Maybe this is tied to your memories, your family, your children. Some of you may suddenly receive some kind of gift, or you may offer some heartfelt sentiment yourself. It may be that you rekindle something. Again, a connection, an old fling, an old friendship. You're taking a closer look at the past and you're looking at the progress that you've made. And perhaps you feel a sense of gratitude. You've gotten a lot of blessings. And something about this month is going to give you the opportunities that you seek, either, again, to get that vindication or to tell somebody how you truly feel, or for you yourself to receive some kind of appreciation. Whatever seeds that you have planted in the past, this is the month where those are going to come to harvest. And some of you, this is going to feel very familiar to you. There's going to be a deja vu experience that you have, or your intuition kicks in, and maybe you even feel something is going to happen before it does, or your dreams tell you some information that's important. You are definitely going to be hearing from someone or about someone from your past. Hopefully it won't be something that's shocking to you. For some of you, there are going to be some opportunities that you had given up on. You thought the door was closed, that it was a done deal, and suddenly there's a new chance, a second chance. But for others of you, something that you've done in the past, some indiscretion, a mistake, an oversight, maybe even something medical, emotional, financial, is going to pop up and resurface to your disadvantage. In which case, you're going to hear from somebody, or you're going to have to contact somebody that you were hoping to sidestep. So again, you may be dealing with the repercussions of something from the past. It could even be your own outmoded beliefs and values, but something about your thoughts and your memories will play a significant role, even if it's small, about how you handle the present and how you move forward in the future. Now, this is connected to, you repairing or clarifying or improving some kind of aspect of your life that has to do with work, health, or your domestic affairs. And it's going to be an emotional month full of change, where you're having to look at your attachment level to situations and to people. Now, the keys for you to get past any negative situations this month is for you to use your common sense and avoid being reckless, for you to reorganize and release those things that don't serve you, and make sure that you don't hesitate so that other people play the role that you yourself should be playing. Something about your situation, though, is creating a problem area for you with regard to communication. Maybe somebody is illogical or impractical, or there's been a lack of forethought. So the fool could be stepping out and taking a risk without really thinking things through. And for some of you, you may have to suddenly put in a lot of effort towards something. Some of you, it's going to be a significant health situation. Maybe an operation is called for, or you're dealing with somebody aggressive. Maybe somebody's fighting for their freedom, or they're being revolutionary. In fact, somebody may be bullied and pressured into making a decision they really don't want to make because of some insensitivity to the feelings of other people. So there's a lot of pressure to fold, to bend, to give in. But somebody's trying to hold their ground and stay true to their convictions. And in the end, they're having to pay a price for that emotionally. Perhaps, you're staying with somebody that's abusive, or you're selling yourself a reason why you need to remain in a negative circumstance. But someone may put in a lot of effort to meet a challenge. You pass the test, and then suddenly you realize that it was all worthless in the end, that you did it all for naught. Now, toward the end of the month, life does support this strong move toward furthering your goals. But the ability to think in practical terms and keep it real is what's going to ensure your long-term success. And again, the issues are this sudden realization or something happening out of the blue that's tied to the past or your childhood or a child, and a review of that situation. Now, let's take a brief look at your money situation. You have cheat sheet. So shortcuts, get-rich-quick schemes, or illicit activity may backfire. Avoid unnecessary risk to resources. Make sure that you or associates are acting with integrity. So this is not the time to step out there and, take any foolish risk or try to cut corners or do something that's not on the up and up, because there may be some consequences for that. This is all being driven by strategy. You are facing a worthy adversary or stiff competition. take time to devise an effective strategy to outmaneuver your opponents. So you're going to have to think carefully, trust your gut, make some decisions, be cautious. Something about this may again tie to your past. As far as love, you have memories and secrets. So we have this tie to the past. Could be an old lover. There's some kind of secret, some memories that you have. It could be somebody that, you had a pleasant experience with that person. You shared something, and it's currently influencing your relationship. It could be that, there's something you're not seeing, though, about the past, or something that you're hiding, and that past could get stirred up during this period. There may be something that needs to come to light. Perhaps, your feelings, or you're having some nostalgia for the past. Could even be an old love may reappear. And your advice card is chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So there was somebody where maybe, you didn't put that out in the open, or there was something that happened between you, some kind of chemistry that you shared with another person. But any kind of indiscretion, remember, could come back to bite or haunt you. So you have to be prudent in whatever you're doing. You have to really take stock of whether you have good chemistry with this person, or these are just rose-colored memories. You are doing some kind of revisionist history, but there's a secretive element to your relationship this month.